OMG, you guys. They are releasing the NFL schedule today. Let's get through the mailbag real quick and then we'll get to the NFL schedule. First thing is, I had said that I prefer Brent Jones to George Kittle. And you guys were like, what are you talking about? George Kittle is so much better than Brent Jones. I don't dispute that, especially in terms of like skills. Of course, George Kittle is more talented than Brent Jones. I just grew up on tight ends like Brent Jones, Jay Novacek with the Cowboys, Dallas Clark with the Colts, where they were sort of like big lumbering dudes that weren't particularly fast, but they always knew how to get open. They always knew where to sit in the zone. And they had great hands, great soft hands, and they were like a super reliable safety valve for the quarterback. And that is just my preference. That doesn't mean they're better than George Kittle or Travis Kelce or Rob Gronkowski, right? It's just a preference of mine. That's all. Relax, everybody. Eric, I was saying that no one will date me. No one will go out with me. Eric Reed said that if he were so inclined, if he swung that way, he might consider dating me. I appreciate that. I always find that flattering. Anytime anyone would consider mating with me, I find that flattering. So thank you for that, Eric. Now, I don't know how this started, but there was this huge argument about whether or not women could do men's jobs, right? Like on one side you had Spy versus Spy and L. Isaac saying like society would collapse without men because women can't do those jobs. And then there was another group of guys that were like, women are queens, they can do anything, they're amazing. I am more in the circumstantialist camp, where I just believe, you know how there's a certain demographic in the United States that is sort of perceived to commit all the crimes, right? There is a certain demographic in the United States that is perceived to commit a disproportionate amount of crimes. And people think if you just remove that demographic, then there would be less crime. I don't believe that. I believe that if you took that demographic out of the equation, somebody in the remaining population would take their place. So whoever was left would end up then being on the margins. They are sort of in the in group right now, but without that other demographic, they would be on the out group and they would take that other demographic's place. And they would commit a disproportionate amount of crimes. And then if you remove them, whoever is left, they would commit the crimes. So I am a circumstantialist in that way. I believe you take the Israelis and the Palestinians, right? I believe if you put the Israelis in the place of the Palestinians and the Palestinians in the place of the Israelis, the Palestinians would do what the Israelis are doing and the Israelis would do what the Palestinians are doing. I am a circumstantialist. In the case of men and women, I absolutely believe if you took men out of the equation, some woman would take the place of Andrew Tate. There would be a misogynist woman. She would be somehow, she would differentiate between herself and weaker women somehow. So there would be a female Andrew Tate, there would be a female me, there would be a woman right here, right now, saying borderline misogynistic things and thirsting after K-pop idols and Sabrina Carpenter the way I do. Some other woman would be doing that. Some woman would take the place of Trump. Some woman would take the place. What I'm saying is whenever there is a vacuum, it will be filled by somebody. Okay, and this has been shown throughout history. In the case of Albert Einstein, people think like, oh, without Albert Einstein, we wouldn't have relativity. That is, of course, not true. There were guys maybe 5-10 years behind Albert Einstein. So even without Albert Einstein, somebody else was going to do that job. Maybe they would have been 10 years behind, but somebody would have done that job. I just don't believe in the specialness of individuals or groups. I'm a system guy. I'm like Kyle Shanahan. I'm a system guy. I believe in systems. I believe someone will always fill that. So without men, do I believe society would collapse? No, I just believe it would be a little bit different. Some group of women would be like super like manly. That's what I believe. And where does that leave me? That leaves me like the libs don't like me. Like somebody said like, oh, the Majority Report is great, right? The Majority Report would hate me. What are you talking about? They would freaking hate my guts. So I'm here, out on my own again, like, here I go again on my own. Dun, 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 dun. Here I go again on my own. Walking down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. And I know what it means to walk along the lonely street of dreams. Here I go again on my own. Walking down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. So, yeah, I believe there would be a woman doing the Andrew Tate shtick right now in an alternate universe where there were no dudes. I believe there would be a Putin. I believe there would be a female Putin. There would be a female Benjamin Netanyahu. There would be a female Brock Party. There would be, well, we know that already. Who, can we say that? Is she 18, by the way? Johnny Young says, another funny video. He always laughs at my video. The crazy thing is, I'm not doing jokes. I think he thinks this is a comedy show. This is not a comedy show, Johnny. This other guy says Andor is the best Star Wars show. Okay, look. Andor, no doubt about it, Andor is the best received Star Wars show ever, right? It is both critically acclaimed and well received by audiences. It's one of the highest rated Star Wars ever. But can I tell you something? I have no idea what's happening. First of all, what even is Andor? What even is Andor? Is that like the Ewok planet? I've not seen any Ewoks, so I assume it is something else. I have kind of let Andor play in the background, hoping like I will get into it at some point. While I argue about the TV show You on Reddit, I've just left Andor in the background, hoping to get into it. And from what I can gather, the woman who looks like Gillian Anderson is the woman the woman general leader lady in the original Star Wars, right? I've been able to piece that together. But my question is, so what? Who cares? Who cares? What's the point of that? And then there's the guy who looks exactly like Pedro Pascal. I love that guy. I first saw him on Netflix, Narcos, right? I think it was that last season of Narcos Mexico, whatever it was. Young skinny Pedro Pascal. I love that guy. I can see he's a great actor. And all the actors are great. The actors are great. The set pieces are great. I love the look of the show. I love everything about the show, except I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. This John Campea. You guys know John Campea, the movie TV show review guy. He was talking about how Andor episode 8 was like this amazing, like whatever. So I watched it, right? And it's supposed to be like some kind of like destruction of this planet or whatever. And it was like, oh no, it was supposed to be like tragic, right? I watched it. It is like a Tuesday on Earth. What are you guys talking about? They are talking about like, oh, it's so tragic and sad, dude. That's like a Tuesday in Ukraine. That's like a brunch in the Middle East, dude. What are you guys talking about? And we don't even have lasers. We don't have lasers or robots. And the so-called destruction from episode 8, season 2, episode 8, is minuscule compared to what we have on Earth. Have you ever heard of Carthage, dude? Have you seen what Rome did to Carthage? What is this? What are they talking about? They're like, oh, it's so tragic. What happened in episode 8? What happened in episode 8? that's like a protest here in the United States. What are you guys? What are you talking about? I don't understand the show. I don't understand what everybody loves about Andor. They're like, it's so real, so realistic. I'm sorry. The so-called destruction that they're talking about happens multiple times per year on Earth. So I don't know what you guys are talking about.